Next part that we're going to do with our calculator is asymptotes. So there are two types of asymptotes. They are vertical and horizontal. So I think we can probably use our calculator to do both. So the first one that we're going to look at is we're going to try to find the asymptotes of f of x is equal to 2 divided by, make sure I type this in right, x minus 1 squared. So here's my function. F of x is 2 over x minus 1 squared. And I want to know, are there any asymptotes? So let's go up to our calculator and type this in. So 2 divided by x minus 1 squared. And let's graph it. So you can see my window is definitely messed up, so I'm going to go ahead and just change my window. Let's try to change it. How about -5 to 5? And then I'll change my y's to be the same. -5 to 5. Okay, so you can see something's happening right here. It looks like I'm going off towards maybe infinity on the left and then off towards infinity on the right, but it's hard to tell, so I should probably change my y window. It doesn't look like I need to go far below the x-axis, so maybe I'll go y from -1. Let's go up to 50, just to really see what's happening in the y direction. So, -1 to 50. Now it definitely looks like what I'm doing is approaching infinity over on this side and then also going off towards infinity on the right hand side. The question is, what is this line right here? So what is that vertical line? So what I can do is just kind of trace. So if I trace along, you see that my x values are going towards 1 and then suddenly I skip over. So I have a huge number for something less than 1 and then I skip over and go down again. Now, if you want to be more precise about this, what you can do is go to Second Calc and type in value. So if I want to know what's the value when x is equal to 1, well, it tells me there isn't one. So that's kind of a hint that there is a vertical asymptote at x equals 1 because I don't have a y value. For example, let's figure out the y value when x is 0. It's 2. So the fact that when I trace along, I go towards infinity from the left, approaching 1, and then I kind of start going back down after I go over 1. That kind of screams there's a vertical asymptote here. And then also the fact that when I look at the value, when x is equal to 1, there isn't one. So we would say that there is a vertical asymptote. At x equals 1. So there's a vertical asymptote at x equals 1 because it kind of goes off towards infinity on both sides of it, and it can never, I can never have x equaling 1. So that's my vertical asymptote. That's the only one I have. Next question is, do I have any horizontal asymptotes? Well, the window that I currently have, it looks like no. Let's change my window. Let's make my x's go -10 to 10. And let's make my y go maybe -5. And then, or actually, yeah, -5 to 5 should be good. So what does it look like is happening? It looks like as I go to the left, I'm kind of approaching the x-axis. As I go to the right, I'm also kind of approaching the x-axis. So is there some sort of horizontal line that I don't necessarily cross in either direction? Well, that would be the x-axis. Horizontal asymptotes are always of the same form. They're of the form y equals something. Asymptote at. So just like a vertical asymptote was x equals something, horizontal asymptotes are y equals something. So since we're not crossing the x-axis, it would be y equals 0. So the horizontal asymptote here is y equals 0, which is the x-axis. A vertical asymptote is x equals 1. Again, vertical asymptotes, always of the form x equals something. Horizontal asymptotes, y equals something. So from this graph, I can get that. So just look, do I have any vertical lines that I'm approaching? Do I have any horizontal lines I'm approaching?